fans, welcome to the official Adventures in Odyssey podcast.
You know, on this podcast, we talk a lot about the process behind the scenes in Odyssey, what happens before the episode's finished. But what about after a show's done? When people listen, what happens then?
Well, we get to hear all sorts of amazing stories about the effect Adventures in Odyssey has on our fans. We rarely get to tell anyone about these folks, but today we're sharing 3 recent stories of how God has used the show to impact our listeners.
Now, the first is a video that we got from a fan out of the blue in December 2021. I don't want to give any more away than that. Let's watch.
Hey Adventures in Odyssey, my name is Matthew and I'm so incredibly excited to share this project that I just completed. Now this has been a year-long thing that I first started on when I heard the Adventures in Odyssey Club episode entitled The Forever Gift.
You wrote, "How much I love you" on your wall, but what's that next to it?
You haven't seen this contraption before?
Nope.
Well, you see, back in our old house, I had this up on the wall in the sunroom.
Oh.
It's something I made for Eleanor years ago.
Oh, but what does it do?
You see those pebbles?
Uh-huh.
And the buckets?
Sure.
Every day, a small pebble from this bucket falls into that bucket and makes it a little bit heavier.
Uh-huh.
It tugs on the wheel pulley, and the heart right there is raised up a millimeter or so.
Oh.
I attach it to a timer so that the next pebble would fall at exactly 9 p.m. We sit here together on this couch every night at 9 to watch the heart go up a little bit.
Oh, 'cause you love her a little bit more every day.
You got it.
That is really romantic.
Now when I first heard this episode, it was just before I was planning to propose to my girlfriend, so I knew that I wanted to start working on a wedding project to build for her, and I was like, this would be such a great idea to make this. But I just couldn't figure out how to do it. So I started back then, and it really has been a year-long process to do all this. I cannot describe to you how excited I am to show this to you. So for the first time, I unveil to you my very own How Much I Love You project. Here it is. So here's how it works. Basically, you have a motor underneath the cabinet that has a string attached to it. The string goes up and through 2 pulleys and then back down the other side of the cabinet and attaches to 1 red heart. Now the cabinet is filled with a lot more than just 1 heart. There's actually 24 hearts in here. Now every single night at 9 p.m. the motor turns on and pulls the heart up about 2 millimeters or so every single time. Now obviously this means that it will take a very long time to get to the top, but that's actually exactly what I want. Now every single time a red heart gets to the top, my wife and I will take it off together and replace it with a different heart that we're also going to paint red and put on the string. Now this is just the perfect way to be able to tell my wife that I will love her more and more every single day for the rest of my life. Now I never would have embarked on a project like this if it weren't for Adventures in Odyssey. That is where I got the idea from. I adapted it a little bit myself, but man, you guys inspired me so much. I cannot thank you enough. I love you guys so much. Keep doing what you're doing. I will always listen to Adventures in Odyssey, and I can't wait to share it with my kids someday.
That is awesome. But it makes my wedding gift feel a little inadequate.
Yeah, mine too. We loved Matthew's story, but we needed an update, and thankfully, we got one just recently. So what did Matthew's wife think of her gift?
So there was a lot of anticipation leading up to the gift. I knew that Matthew had been working on it every day for basically a year. I had no idea what it was, had no idea what could possibly be taking that long to make. So he unveiled the gift to me pretty much right when we got back from our honeymoon. He timed it just right so that as soon as he took the cover off of the cabinet, within a minute or 2, the heart raised up. So then he was able to explain to me the whole backstory of the gift.
As you can see, the heart is now much higher in the cabinet. It's not quite ready to be taken off and replaced with a different heart. That happens about every 3 years, but everything has been going really well so far. So we're just gonna keep letting it grow. And when it gets to the top, we will be taking that heart off, replacing it with a silver one, and continuing that for basically forever. I have about 70 years worth of hearts in this cabinet, so it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
We'll be well into our 90s.
And how about the effect of Odyssey on their family going forward?
Candace didn't grow up on Adventures in Odyssey like I did. After we started dating, I introduced it to her and we started making it a part of our routine on road trips, anytime we were in the car, anytime we just had spare time listening to Odyssey.
Yep.
And we've been doing it ever since. I still listen to all the new episodes that come out. We now have an 8-month-old son as well, so as he grows up, and any other kids that we'll have, I'm sure
They'll definitely be listening.
be big Odyssey fans.
Yep.
So thank you for the impact that you've had on both of us.
Yes.
And we will be lifetime listeners, us as well as our kids.
For sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I love the idea of passing on Odyssey to the next generation. We've heard so many stories of listeners who grew up on the show and are now sharing it with their kids.
But there's another way that people are passing Odyssey to the next generation, and that's what our next story is about.
We're the Klein family, and Dan, this is my wife Hannah, our sons Junior and Jimmy. Their full names are Daniel John Avery Klein and David James Adventure Klein. We named them after Whit and Jimmy.
Hi, we're the Burr family, and this is Timothy Riley, based off of the Adventures in Odyssey character Timothy Riley. We chose the name Timothy Riley because we realized that the character would probably be a great influence on our son, and we were both fans of Adventures in Odyssey growing up, and we thought it would fit perfectly.
Yeah, so I've been a fan for the whole time this show's been on. I started collecting in 1992. When we were having kids, it was just part of our family to bring Odyssey into it, and so naming them after characters on the show was just a natural part of that.
As a kid, I would always listen to it right before bedtime. We would listen to it on the radio.
And I would also listen to it. Our radio, it was on at 4:30, and so most of the time we were out like grocery shopping or something. So whenever we came back and we're in the middle of it, we'd have to tell our mom to run inside and turn it off so we wouldn't miss anything in the show while we were getting inside. We actually listened to the Timothy Riley episode on our way up here, and listening to it again after having him was really impactful because I really noticed just the impact that Timothy did have on PD in the episode, and the impact that PD in turn had on all the kids that he was working with in the inner city program.
The name came about just a natural naming him after the main character. And then Jimmy, our big adventure.
We like Jimmy on the show.
Yeah, Jimmy
cool.
Barkley. We listen to a lot of Jimmy Barkley episodes.
I hope he realizes that we thought about his name a lot, and that we are hoping that he is an influence for Christ no matter the cost. We don't want anything to happen to him, but that he will have the willingness to do whatever he is called to do.
So we're hoping by giving them these names and this foundation that they can learn more about Jesus and learn that there's actually a real person that can have great character and live like Jesus.
It's really cool because growing up, we didn't realize how big of an influence it would be on our lives. We just thought it was something fun to listen to, but it's cool to see how that's blossomed into how our relationship grew and how hopefully our relationship with him will grow in the future too.
That's so great. And we know there are more stories out there like these. Other kids who are named Whit, Whitaker, or John Avery, and maybe a few Connies or Eugenes.
Yeah, but surprisingly, we haven't heard about any Rodney Rathbones or Regis Blackards.
And I doubt we ever will. And finally today, some of our favorite impact moments in Odyssey are those we get to be part of ourselves, like Sam's story.
Sam had a stroke when he was just 8 years old, and while he was recovering in the hospital, he listened to a lot of Adventures in Odyssey.
Sam's now a few years older and doing much better. Last summer, he got the chance to plan his own Make-A-Wish trip. He could have made any wish, gone anywhere, and he chose to come here to focus on the family for Adventures in Odyssey.
We put together a special day for him, including recording an actual episode here on the campus. Let's see a few of the highlights from that day.
This is going to be a great adventure. Are we all ready to get started?
Yeah!
Then let's go, because you never know what can happen when you have an adventure in Odyssey. Starting in 3, 2, 1!
wanted in the world.
Hey, Buck, are you using these dumbbells?
No, you can have them, Sam.
So, you like Jules Kendall?
Move along, Sam.
Coming in second to Ryan Cummings isn't bad.
And where's Casey?
Here.
What's your name?
Sam.
Hi, Wooten.
Your room is decorated with Star Wars posters. That's really cool. Okay, I like Star Wars too. Luke, I am your real father. That's Wooten Vader.
Hi, Sam. It's me, Chris. What's been one of your couple of your highlights that you've liked so far?
We recorded some stuff for Odyssey.
Really? You didn't say hi. This is Sam. Welcome to Adventures in Odyssey, did you? Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad. Bye, Sam. Bye, sisters and brothers.
Bye, guys.
You can hear Sam's voice in King of My Heart playing a character, well, named Sam.
Stories like Sam's and Dan and Hannah's and Tirza and Josiah's and Matthew and Candace's are the reason that we create this show. I love, Jesse, seeing what God is doing with Adventures in Odyssey.
Thanks to all of our listeners who have shared their stories with us, and keep them coming.
That's all for this edition of the official Adventures in Odyssey podcast, a presentation of Focus on the Family. I'm Bob.
And I'm Jesse, reminding you that with God in your life, every day's an adventure.